Hey, I don't know if this is gonna work. You guys miss me? Okay, I'm talking to myself. I feel like a vlogger. Okay, well, hopefully you can see my screen. I'm going to show how to do final account statement. So this is the document I made. Hopefully I have left it for you guys and you have access to it, but if not, this is what it looks like. So yeah, I put this image of the orchards at the top in the header, and then all this fun stuff in the footer. So yeah, I'm gonna move it. Can I move it to the screen? Yeah, okay. So we're doing impact. And obviously you just put today's date, whoever the resident is. I always put all of the people, like the head of household and all the occupants. And then I like to just start from scratch. So delete everything. And if you ever make a mistake, where is it? This right here is your best friend because you can just go backwards and it's really fun. Oh, what did I do? See, I just messed up. This is a great example. Okay. Delete everything. Delete, delete, delete. So then also you're gonna want to make sure that this is the right date if you do it like me. And then I always print out their full ledger. So we have their full ledger here. And then I get out a handy dandy thick Sharpie and I find the very last place where they what's it called? Where they zeroed out their balance. And I kind of go from there. So this is them. So I have this printed in front of me, their ledger, but I'm showing you guys. So the last place they zeroed out was 12-3. So we're gonna go there and I'll just move that to the side. Oh, wait. I'm sharing the right screen. I don't think I have been. Okay, well, that's fine. Sorry, everyone. Okay. I think you can see it now. Okay, whatever. Sir. Okay. So yeah, I just cleared all this out. Make sure that this is the right date and that this is the right resident and their address and that this is their right date. Zero all this out. Have some fun. And then I go to their ledger and I find the very last place that they zeroed out, which I just said was for them, it was December 3rd because they paid off their balance then. So I just put the date that they paid off their balance, which was 12/3/26. And then I say balance as of 6. Just put a 0 just because, you know, yeah. Um, so then what do I do? Move out. So they moved out on January 2nd and a full month of rent posted on the 2nd, which is really fun. So you can see what I'm doing. Can I zoom in? Oh, how helpful. Okay. Sure.
How are y'all? Good.
Which guy came in? Hopefully this isn't too long. Sorry. Okay.
Right.
So literally what I'm doing is I start with rent and I just type it to make sense. So try to keep it clean. Rent and then make it make sense of January. Well, I feel like a better thing to do is put balance as of 12/31 because that's true. You see what I just did there? So it's like, oh, this day you have zero balance, but then the next day, this, then January. And I'm gonna do something that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Because if you look on their ledger, it's gonna show that a full month was posted. So on the ledger, it shows that a full month was posted on the first. But on here, we're only gonna put how much they're actually doing. So taking my Sharpie and crossing it off as I go. So I just did their last balance and then their January rent. This is where it gets confusing, everyone. So what I have highlighted here, I'm gonna put the full amount because it helps me do the math. We are going to change this. This will be changed in a second. So that's not the final thing because obviously 2 days of January is not 1603. So we're gonna do the same with trash. It's $8. And then I'm putting dates as I'm going. And so then as I'm going down the line, I literally just cross it off and I'm crossing it off as I go down just to help me stay in line and make sure I have all my charges in the right part and I'm hitting all the bullets, you know what I mean? So the next thing is water. So okay, on the ledgers, it always starts with a billing fee. For some reason, I always like to do sewer first. But you can do whatever you want. If water, sewer, and then the billing fee makes sense, or the billing fee, and then you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. So, and then I always put the date because I don't want anybody emailing me asking for questions. We do. 11/22. Copy this because it's a pain in the butt to write. Water. Water billing fee. I never put billing fee because that could mean anything and people get confused. You have to remember, everyone is dumb. So then I check what is their sewer and water for that date, 72 cents and 77 cents. Cross it off as you go, guys. Cross it off as you go. So I just did sewer, I just did water, and I just did billing fee. So I made 3 ons and offs. See that? Just helps me. You can do whatever you want. Obviously. I'm not even there. So it's really fun. Okay. And then okay, and then the final stuff. So now we have their final sewer. And then I'll put the date. 11/23, 24, 21, 26. Perfect. So same thing. Final water. Final water billing fee. Beautiful. This was 475. Water was that's not a number. And then 80. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. Okay. Now it's getting good because now we got the security deposit. So if you notice, the final bills are always posted on their move out date. It's not going to be with all the normal billing up here. It's going to be on their move out date. So these people moved out on the 2nd. So you put that job there. And then now we're getting into the security deposit territory. So the day they moved out. And then you have your charge line over here, but you have credit line over here. So any payments that they've made, which did they make a payment? They did, but they made a payment on the 5th. So their security deposit was $250. We put that there, right here looking nice and pretty. And then they made a payment on. And then they made a payment on. Okay, wait. So I moved him out and it credited back 29 days because we moved them out on the 2nd. So then it's like, oh, you don't owe all this money. And that is true normally if it was a normal move out, but these people, I believe it was a re-rent. Can I pause this while I figure this out? Because I feel dumb. For whatever reason, whether it's a re-rent or a buyout or whatever, even though this particular resident moved out on the January 2nd, for some reason, we're charging them through February 13th. So this particular scenario is kind of confusing. Because normally it would kind of stop here almost, but why not make it complicated? Why not? So then a helpful thing is if you want to add if you're like, oh, I'm running out of these spaces here, I have more charges, what do I do? So that's when you right click anywhere. You can right click here, you can right click here, you can right click here, you can right click there, anywhere. Right click. And then this insert button, insert row above or below. That's if you want a row. A row goes this way. If you want a column, it's up and down. You don't need a column though. We need rows. So as many rows as you need. So here's that. So we just did their security deposit, cross it off, helps you when you cross it off. And then it's kind of hard to explain, but this is what I have in front of me, but it's printed and you guys obviously can't see it that well. But I see charges here, for example, like this right here is not my doing. This is what Yardi did when we moved him out on the 2nd and then did deposit accounting because Yardi's dumb and they don't know that they did a re-rent. So you can see that I put 149, 1499, but then down here, if you add these two together, it makes 1499 because they actually did owe it, if that makes sense. Like Yardi incorrectly credited them. So on my little piece of paper, I'm actually just going to cancel that John out and I'm just going to cross it because it's not applicable. And then with the other two lines that kind of like also canceled it out, if that makes sense, like this line and these two lines are the same thing. It's like they're canceling each other out. So I crossed all three of them out because I'm like, we're canceling everyone out. The resident doesn't need to see that. Like they're gonna get confused. There's no reason for them to see that because that's really just what we're doing for our books and our ledger and our stuff. So yeah. Same with the trash here. You got 748 here, but then you got 748 there. 748, 748, 748. Canceling them out. Just cross them out. Pretend they don't exist. Just ignore it. And then you can see here. Ooh. Okay, wait, actually, we'll get into that in a second. So now we're getting into the February territory. Now that January is corrected, we're all good in the hood. We're now going to get into January or February. So then I put 2/1/26. And I always put rent. February, 13 days. Same thing with trash. And you just want them to look pretty. So I try to keep it as consistent as I can. So the rent for February and 13 days was 744.25, and then the trash, that's on my ledger. So I'm crossing it off. Every time I like cross something off on my paper ledger, that's because I've written it on my electric side. It just helps me make sure I'm getting everything. So rent, we just put that in. Trash is 371. Put it in, cross it off. You got two blind replacements right here. So what do? You put it in and you cross it off. You put it in, you put two blind replacements. And then for any charges, I always put it for the date that we actually like completed their final account statement. Because maybe that will like describe, or I don't know, explain why we took so long to do it, like we were waiting for that. So then, yeah. And then the last thing on here I noticed was that they did make a payment on the 5th. So what do you do when on January 5th they made a payment and you're like, I need a line in between here? You right click and you insert. So this is kind of the part that does matter. So you'll, let's say I'm right here and I want a little empty box in between these two. Right click, insert row above. Ta-da! And then it puts a row above. And then that's where you put, I always just put bill payment, and then remember they made a payment, so we're putting it in that credit line. So their payment was 1623.64. So now this is everything. Like my ledger is, oh my gosh, y'all can't really see it, but it's all crossed off. So I'm like, we're good. But then we have all these empty ones, and I'm like, that looks ugly. How do we get rid of all these empty ones, Grace? Well, you highlight them, you right click, and you delete the rows. Don't delete the table. If you click delete, it might delete everything. Who knows? Just the rows. Just the rows. Boom. So now this is the fun part where I get out my handy dandy calculator and I get my calculator and I start at the top. I start here and I start adding all of these up and then subtracting these from them and then adding these to them. So basically just doing the math yourself. So 1663 plus 8 plus 72 plus 7 plus 4.75 plus 8 plus 45 plus 4.75 plus 250. Oh, no. Minus 250. So obviously you're doing the math yourself, so don't be dumb. Make the 64. 44. 25. Plus 2.71 plus 27. Excellent. So now I just did the math. Y'all can't see it, but I got 524.96. And that's how much they owe. How much they owe, girl. Y'all some bad residents. So just because I added it myself doesn't mean it's accurate. Because if you remember anything about me, I don't know how to be my man. So we go back to the ledger. And we see 524.96. That is the balance at the very bottom. That's what they are. That's what they owe. 524.96. 524.96. We did our math right. Ladies and gentlemen. We did our math right. So then, zoom out here. So now it's done. You got the date, you got the resident, you got their address, You got all of their accurate charges, credits, total amount due. Make sure you got that, John, right? You're gonna control and print that, John? Put it in black and white so we don't get charged for that colored paper. So that's messed up. This John print off. You'll sign it. You sign it right here. That's what I'm gonna do right now. I was born in 2003, where they didn't teach me how to do cursive. So I feel like an idiot. Send that to yourself. So normally, fine, I'll show you guys how to do it the right way. That's probably don't all do it on CRM, but I like to do it on my email. You search up the resident that you just, that they owe $700. 5625 freebie. Impact. So then activities. This we gonna send them their bill now. Small, send them their bill. You gotta add activity, email them. Or to make it full screen, make sure you can see everything. You see what I just did? I said insert template. All that is putting your agent signature if you don't touch it. There's all these ones down here, all these dumb dunk templates. We don't use those. We don't use those. So I just keep it at my agent signature so that it's got my name right here, sign off, all the things. This is ugly. So we're actually just gonna make sure to highlight the picture. You don't highlight the picture, it won't go away. Bye. Then it's gone. Then we're good. Then, if you're anything like me, my best friend, ChatGPT. I have I have my FAS little thing here. And this is just a template that I've created with ChatGPT. So literally it says the same thing every single time. You can do the same thing. See what I've trained it to do? Watch what I have to do. Now do one for impact. Living services. They moved out of 5625 freebie on January 2nd, 2026. They tell them who it is, the apartment, and how much they owe. If they owe. If they're getting a refund, I tell them they're getting a refund. They owe 524, 96. Watch what chat's gonna do. That's all I said. That's all I said. You don't have to do all the typing. Chat will do it for you. So as you can see, and you can steal my verbiage. Might want to pause the video, take a look, see if you like it. So I highlight all that, John. Copy it. Oh. And then I go to my email that I just started to make. And I paste it. Now look at that. Ain't that? Isn't that beautiful? It's even got right here. This is an attempt to collect a debt. I usually put that John in bold. Make it real serious. All right. That's that. Make sure the subject line says your final count statement at the orchards. And normally I'd leave it at that. Just your final account statement at the orchards. But because this is impact and they have a million apartments here, I try to help them out. And I'm gonna just say 56.5. Easy. And that's it. Oh, you gotta attach it too. So you go to your scans, because remember I scanned it to myself a while ago? This is it right here. That's kind of ugly. See, I don't want to send them something that says the orchards. So actually, I like to rename it. Make sure this is it. Okay. It's helpful for me too. It's not just for them. Then like I'm organized. And then it's in. You got all your instructions. And tell them that the full payment is due within 30 days. And then it's sent. Now you might ask, how do I know to follow up? How do I know who owes this and what knows this? Because things are gonna get crazy, I promise you. Things are gonna get crazy. So that's when you whip out Grace's file. That's when you find out the move outs and filing cap statements. So you can see I have everyone's name here. All these people's names. They got their unit next to them, their move out date. And I keep it all in order according to their move out date. Because we can't be messy. We gotta keep it in order. So I just did 5625 3B, which is right here. So I keep it empty and white if they're waiting, if it's not even touched, if we don't even know. Once I have a decision on if we've touched it, if we've worked on it, if we've paid attention to it, that's when I start to turn it green. So we just did their deposit accounting, they got their thing, they did return keys. You just literally, if you want that green yes box, you just Control C, Control V. Control C, no, you don't even have to. Control V, Control V, Control V, all the things. We did send it. This is the part where you put how much they owe, because you're gonna think, I don't remember how much they owe. I did that deposit, I just sent that weeks ago. 96. Where you put what they owe. If they owe, you put it in red, because we want that red to flash out at you. We don't want red. So I want to chase that thing. The red. You can stand there. Attempts made to collect. You got it all right here. I just did it on 2/17. So I done my part. That John agreed. Paid? Did they pay? Of course not. They got the email 2 minutes ago. Now, if we owe them money, then we'll get a refund in the mail eventually. Have we received that? For these people, they owe us, so both of these are not good. Yeah, and then once everything is green, once you get their move out inspection uploaded, remember that move out condition walk sheet? Once that's gotta get uploaded. Get uploaded. Make sure that's in there and good. Make sure they paid. You know, once they pay, I change it to either 0 or and I make it green or something, you know, whatever makes sense for you. But just make sure you're organized and you're tracking it. Then I put they paid, and then I gray it out like the rest of these fools. See you, bye. But I never delete it because, you know, I just like to remember just in case. Never know, just in case. So yeah. And then, you know, let's say 2 weeks goes by and you're like, Olivia Shaw, you haven't paid us, Miss Girl. It's been 3 weeks, you're about to be sent to collections. You owe, when was the last time I talked to you? Well, look, you can see I last talked to Olivia on the 28th. So you're like, Miss Girl, You got 18 days left before you get sent. So it's like, it's helpful. Stay organized. It'll help you in the long run. Do your due diligence. Oh, it's still recording. Hey.